what I've learned is people get way more from authenticity than they do from a show or being entertained.
Facts.
And so that is what this is, and we get to show up and talk and have a conversation and, wipe baby throw up off of me and, process through life together, then so be it.
Yeah. Yo, it's good. Welcome to the Mowry podcast. My name is Tavior Mowry.
I'm Sandy Mowry.
This is Tree Mowry. And this is the Mowry podcast.
And this is our couch.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. We did do a little, not a switcheroo, but we didn't have the couch for a little bit.
Which is why we haven't been doing the podcast, if I'm honest.
Low key.
That's been my reason.
Hockey.
I'll tell you the story.
Go tell the story.
So we had the couch. We were telling you guys Lexi's going to need it back. So Lexi is my twin sister. I think we've said that.
Yeah.
But we were literally, the last episode we shot, we didn't release that episode, I don't think.
Nah.
Yeah. Anyway, we didn't end up releasing that one. But we shot it, and then as soon as we hit, and Jake, my brother-in-law, called and was like, "Hey, Lexi says, can she come get the couch?" And we were like,
Yeah.
So they came and got the couch, and then we just were knew we had to make a whole new set, and that on the priority list of taking care of kids and getting ready for tour and all of this has just been
Super
low. And we both been finishing musical projects, so it's just been a lot. So we just kind of kept being we'll do it. Eventually, we'll do it eventually.
We was about to be sitting on some plastic fold chairs.
Yeah, just to be you know what, we'll just make it a vibe.
Yeah.
Whatever we have to do, it'll just be funny then. Then my sister moved, and they had a new couch, and so she called and was like, oh, excuse you. She called and was like, "Hey, y'all can have the couch back if you want it." And we were like, "Ding, ding."
Bet.
So we went and got it.
We'll take it.
Huh?
I said, we'll take it.
Oh, yeah. Why'd you do that?
I just didn't want it on the ground.
Oh. And so it's been back for maybe a week, if that. I don't think it's less than that.
It came this week.
Yeah, this week we had it back. And now see, and we're
Now
back
we
locked
shooting.
in. Didn't have to change the set. Now Tape did change the lighting.
I did change the lighting a little bit. It's got a little bit more of a mood, a little vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? Which is fun. I'm still growing and learning about exposing things differently and lighting differently. So we're growing. It's another opportunity.
Yeah. Ouch. Oh, Lord.
I wonder if the mic picked that up. That's crazy.
Maybe.
Boy, got gas.
I think that's probably why he woke up. We thought we were going to be able to shoot without him, but he probably has gas.
He said, nah.
All right. But yeah, we figured we'd just catch you guys up. Let's ease back into it.
Okay, cool. So what's going on in your world?
I don't want to start.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I just finished writing the EP, which I'm super excited about. I'm going on tour with the New Respects in June. I'm opening for them, which is going to be exciting. I start back work at the museum that I art handle at.
Oh, yeah. When is that? This week?
Next week.
Next week.
Or this coming week.
Monday.
Well, Tuesday, Thursday.
Oh.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I art handle at a museum in town, which is a very interesting job that I found myself into, but I really enjoy it, and it influences me heavily, inspires me.
It's been great.
It's a seasonal thing. I work for a chunk of months, and then we're off. It's in coordination with the different exhibits that are being installed and deinstalled. They call it deinstall.
Oh, not uninstall?
Yeah. Yeah, I always wondered. I was whenever I hear deinstall, I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me. Uninstall, that also doesn't sound right to me. Destall.
No.
That's not a word,
No.
but it sounds.
No, it doesn't sound better.
Destall. Destall. There it is.
Destall?
Yeah, destall. Distill, destall.
No.
Okay. That's what's going on with me. I'm doing great. I'm growing, reading books, learning about things, being a husband and dad, better brother, better son, focusing on that.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm good. I am prepping for tour. We have music coming out, so finishing that. I definitely feel like I'm in a season of, I don't even know what to call it. I told Lexi today, I was like, I feel like the ground in my emotional world is being tilled.
Good.
So, for seeds to be planted so that there's new fruit that it's coming up. And I'm real used to living off the fruit from the trees that are already there. So, love an apple, you know what I mean? I like apples, so it's like, why are we planting
new fruit?
New fruit, you know what I mean? New trees. Because, and the process of that is just tough. And I thankfully, it feels like it's being done on a sunny, cool day. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh my gosh, this is so sad and clouds, but it's still very uncomfortable. And Tav and I were just kind of talking a little before we hit record, and it's just like, it's not my typical vibe to be like thrown off. Things don't really throw me off like that. Like, even in the most, what I could describe as like the most overwhelming season, whether it be newborns or touring or how do you work and have a kid, like it's never been like, oh my gosh, like it's just new and I just feel overwhelmed and fearful. I just kind of take it head on and I do it. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah.
So now that the Lord is like doing something new in me and it has brought up that emotion in me, I think everybody is looking at me like, who is this? At least that's my perception.
I think you bugging in your head more than you're bugging outside.
Oh yeah, probably. Gotta keep it cool. Most likely. But I'm trying to be more vocal, so I like talk to my sister a lot, talk to my husband a lot, sometimes in that order, because I have way more words with her than I do with you.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, you're like cool. Get the main points.
Yeah,
and then bring
hit me with the distilled.
Yeah. And then bring those to me.
Yeah.
Destalled.
Oh, see, there you go.
I asked if that was you just whispered.
But I said deinstall. You said destall, and that joint sounds smooth out the mouth.
No, I thought that's what you said. He just spit up on me. Like even that, you just spit up on me, you clean it, you keep going, you do the thing.
Keep it pushing.
So I guess I would say there's an opportunity, there's invitation from the Lord to be like, okay, do you want to keep going and doing what you're doing, or do you want to add? Now, me and my flesh, I go, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing things. Like, we don't know how to rock the boat. And the Lord's just like, okay, why? And I'm like, well, because I'm scared. He's like, okay, why? You know, and like the more we have that conversation, the more childhood stuff comes up, or, you know, past experiences I've had that I haven't done well comes up, or, you know, stuff like that. And so I think even in the invitation, the Lord, in his wisdom, he still has a plan for even that conversation. Right. It's not just like, here's your choice, like figure it out and then talk to me about it. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to ask you a question and then we're going to talk about your answer.
Right.
You have choice. Like this is literally not a trick question. Yeah. But let's talk about why you gave the answer that you gave. Because even if I said yes, I think he would say, okay, why? You know, like it's not just like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, well, let me manipulate you into saying this. He like cares so much about us. And I was sitting on our hammock the other day with True and just talking, and God was like talking about the fear I've been experiencing, and he was like, part of what this is you view me like a principal and not a parent. And I was like, okay. And he said, do I have my phone? I wrote it down. He said, Zandy, you view me as your principal and not your parent. absent in relationship, only present for correction. A principal doesn't necessarily want good things for you. He wants good work from you. That's not me. I have good gifts for you that aren't contingent on anything. And then Matthew 7:11 came up, and he said, if you then, though you're evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So that's kind of also what I've been like chewing on, like, oh dang, like a principal is very void of day-to-day interaction. But if you're getting called to the principal's office, that means you've done something wrong.
Facts.
Or that needs to be corrected.
Can you please repeat to the principal's office?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
all right.
So I think sometimes when I hear my name called by him, I feel like I'm being called to the principal's office. I wonder if they can see his little face.
Yeah. True. You're so handsome, son. Yeah. That's daddy talking to you. Uh-huh.
But I think the thing that I'm like, okay, I hear that, and that's something that we need to work through for sure. And part of the reason I think it went unnoticed for so long is because it doesn't feel bad. Like, it doesn't feel like, what a bad thing that God isn't checking on me on a day-to-day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you're God. By all means, like, just tell me what to do, and I can handle my part, and you do your part. Like, and God's like, I understand that, and, you know, I see how you got there. And you still forfeit your position with me when you only see yourself as somebody who works for me.
What that sounds like is him addressing your knowledge and understanding of him through your perspective of him. Because he's saying, like, you see me this way, but hey, son. But by seeing me in that way, you don't completely get to know who I really am. And you're preventing yourself from getting to know who I am.
And that's the whole point of all of this. Is like he sent Jesus to be with us so that he could live us in this life and then die in our place so that we could have a bridge back to God to be with it, so that we could be with him forever.
Facts. Absolutely.
You know? And he's going, you're only getting part of the inheritance when you don't learn how to abide in me in the appropriate posture. Like, it's not just like, you're close, because I can go to Walmart and shop and I'm close to a lot of people in proximity. That person was checking out before me, or we're both reaching for apples, or we're both in the diaper aisle or whatever. That doesn't mean you're relationally connected.
Right.
And like, the Lord is like, I did everything I did so that I can be relationally connected to you.
Facts.
Not just proximity, like obey my orders.
Facts. And he's omnipresent, so like the proximity is always going to be there.
Yeah.
And he's like that with everybody.
Right.
But the relationship varies from person to person.
Yeah. So I've just noticed, like, also starting to, like, I don't want to make it like a very huge question because I know that it's not this big. But like, do I hear God is the question. And it's not, can I hear his voice, or have I ever heard his voice? Because I know that's the answer to that is yes. But it's like the shame stuff and the always feeling like I'm almost good enough, or almost. And it's tricky because it's not straightforward for me. It's not like, man, I have so many insecurities, I don't feel good enough. It's not that. It's like my work isn't good enough. Like, your work isn't good enough? Like, if I'm supposed to do something and I didn't do it 100%, then it wasn't good enough. Does that make sense?
Okay.
How that could look is like, if I'm watching Triumph and I know that I don't want him to watch TV all day, but True didn't sleep the night before, and so I turn on the TV anyway at 10 o'clock in the morning and give him a snack, and I'm like, just watch a show. You know what I mean? By the end of the day, sometimes I can feel like, I should have done that. I should have done that better. I should have drank coffee and pushed through and took him outside. Right. Because then he probably would have had a better nap, and then he probably wouldn't have gone down so bad at bedtime. You know what I mean? Like, that is what I'm thinking of, the good, when I say good enough. But I don't go to, Zandy, you're a bad mom.
Mm-hmm.
I just go to, I need to do that better, you know. But that's constant.
Okay.
There's not really a day where I'm like, 10 out of 10, killed it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like, you probably could have done this differently, and you probably should have known.
Where is that coming from?
That's what I'm saying. I used to say that was God. Like, teaching me. Like, that's how it felt to me. Like, this is how you do things better than how you are doing it. Because who God corrects, he loves. You know what I mean? So it's like, but now I feel like that's almost right. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the whole thing.
What's almost right?
The correlation between those things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like he does, but is that correction or is that shame?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be...
I think that's probably the telltale sign.
Yeah.
Of like, is this shame induced or is this like edifying?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to go as big as like, do I hear God? Like, I don't know if I heard anything.
Right.
You know, I don't feel that. But now I'm going the nuances, or
like
God
deciphering.
is like principal or parent, is where he's asking. Anytime I'm making, is that principal or a parent? Because is that me or you?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Or the enemy. That's interesting. I think sometimes not sometimes, I experience that very often. And sometimes I'll be like, ooh, that was the Holy Spirit. And I did not do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right.
'Cause that's for sure a thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think...
And I think I err on that side.
I thought that was the Holy Spirit.
Because I don't want to be like, nah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. And it's like, that was God just speaking to you.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it is more one of those like relational frequency type things. Like
Totally.
not frequency as in like vibrations, but like frequency in the sense of like we've done this consistently and habitually. And I have found that like we're instructed to pray without ceasing.
Right.
So if I'm in this, and prayer isn't wish list. Prayer isn't on some genie type stuff. Like prayer is simply communicating.
Yeah.
And as I'm communicating with him constantly, there's just this fluid connection where the longer I stay centered on him and focused on him throughout my day, the clearer the word is. Because now I'm not like, it's like the
dial.
Yeah, like back on the radios. Do people still use radios?
I don't know. Definitely the dial doesn't look like that anymore. But.
Right. But like, or if you're like searching for radio stations, like you're driving to a new city and you're like, what's going on out here? Like, it's like, and you'll catch something and then you're like, I don't want to listen to hard rock. Now it's a jazz station. That's cool. I'm going to remember that. Oh, cool. This is like, I don't know, whatever kind of music. Like, I find if I'm dialed into that station, a la like the voice of the Lord, consistently, I don't have radio interference.
Right.
But when my eyes get off of his face and start to look elsewhere, like I'll scrape over his
station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, is that it? And then I'm like, kind of subscribing to this, and it's like, no, that's not it. You know what I'm saying? It's right here. But the easiest way is to just stay in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like singing on key.
Yeah, like tuning a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like tuning a guitar. But
I've always loved that lyric in Prone to Wander. To my heart to sing thy praise. I think that's such like I think as a guitar player, tuning strings so much.
Yeah.
It's more vivid for me.
Right.
But
let's talk about that. So like for those of y'all that maybe aren't musicians or play instruments, generally speaking, whenever you play a guitar, you tune it. And you tune the guitar to make sure that the strings are in proper like note or frequency settings so that when you're playing the guitar, number one, the guitar itself is in alignment with itself, like frequency wise, note wise, and you can play certain chords and melodies in an efficient way. But also, you're able to play in concert with everyone else. So you're tuned a specific way, and the band is also tuned a specific way so that everyone is playing together. The interesting thing about guitars is that, like, for the most part, every time you pick up a guitar, you should probably tune it. If you're like playing in like a recording or something like that, if you're just playing around, it doesn't matter. But you want to tune your guitar so you make sure that you're in tune. And if you're playing kind of vigorously during a set, like multiple songs, sometimes you'll be tuning in between songs to make sure that the guitar stays in tune, because its natural order is to get out of tune. And we use tuners to put this guitar back into tune. I explain all that to say is because I feel like a lot of that is the renewing of our mind daily. Mm-hmm. And I used to feel convicted that I had to continuously renew my mind throughout the day, because like one time was not enough. And God was like, don't feel shame about that.
Right.
Like, it's this continuous tuning.
Right.
And I think that leads itself to hearing his voice clear and clear.
Yeah.
Meditating on it. And it's like, meditate on his word day and night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meditate on these things. What is that, Philippians 4?
Think on these things.
Yeah, think on these things. It's all these things to stay in that zone. Mm-hmm. And the longer we stay there, there's not as much interference. And it's an active thing. It's not just like, oh, I read my word today, cool. Like, no, it's like, I read my word today.
To start.
That's just the beginning. Like, that's like hopping in the shower. Like, if we're renewing our mind and like washing our mind with like the word of God, that'd be like hopping in the shower and be like, cool, I'm wet. All right, now I'm done. Yeah. And it's like, whoa. Where's the washcloth at, first and foremost? Because you're going to need that.
Please. Let's start with this. Yeah. Small PSA.
Get your washcloth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then let's get this soap. Let's lather this up, and like, let's wash our body, our lower body,
the whole body,
our feet, all of that. You know what I'm saying? But all jokes aside, I do believe that is probably the most surefire way to start to become sensitive to, like, oh, this is him.
Yeah.
This is him. And it is kind of like an endurance thing to remain in that place. Yeah. Because the flesh wrestles against the spirit, and the flesh is an enmity to God. Yeah. And the flesh wants to do what the flesh wants to do, and the spirit wants to do what the spirit wants to do. And the soul is in like this place of like, well, who am I about to submit to? Right. But I do feel like our perspective leads us to either focus on the face of Christ or the things of this world. Right. And oftentimes I find my gaze falling from his faith. Yeah. But I think that retuning is getting back on his face, totally. Like, consistently.
Yeah. I think we talked about this. I don't think it was in the episode we didn't use, but about the Watchmen and how yours are always on.
Yeah. No, I think we posted that one.
Okay, yeah. I think part of the ground that God is tilling in me is like kind of addressing the Watchmen in my heart of like, sometimes they need to go out, you know. Sometimes you need to, because I never questioned my position with God. Now that position might be wrong. I'm now learning. But I've never thought, I don't work for God. You know what I mean? Like, or he's not mad at me. I've never, just baseline thinking I'm opposing him. I've chilled so hard in that perspective that essentially I'm saying the tuning has gone without priority for a while.
He's and because like, I'm nice.
Yeah, and as a guitar player, I like can tune. If I hear a string out, then I can kind of tweak it enough. If I'm playing a show,
to get close enough.
Yeah, I'm not like, I have to tune all of these now. I'm like, I know how to go in and adjust. In life, I feel that way, where I'm not like, this mistake I made or this thought process counts me all the way out. I'm like, I know how to go in and adjust. And God is like, with guitars, you have to get them set up periodically. If you travel a lot or something like that,
The environment changes.
The environment changes the wood, and it ends up affecting everything.
Yeah.
So or it's like going to a doctor and just getting an annual checkup. Like, it's not like, oh, something's wrong, you know what I mean? But it's like, just to make sure I'm still good, I'm gonna go into the doctor. And I think those paces, sometimes I can feel so healthy, I'm like, I don't really need a checkup, you know? And God is like, but those are with me, you know? So it's not that you're in such a bad place, but it's, how do you stay aligned, not just get aligned, you know? And that's by going in and the doctor being like, no, this looks good, this looks good. These numbers look a little high. I would just look at your diet, you know, or add exercise to your thing. But no, you look good. And I haven't done one of those in a minute because I'm just like, I feel healthy. And then I go in and the doctor's not saying, no, actually, you're very sick. But he is going, yeah, look at this from my perspective, not from how you feel, not from just you feel good, but based on what I know, based on what I know about the human body, based on what I know is what the actual goal is, which God is going based on what the standard that Jesus is. And I do see you through that lens. This is how you stay. This is the area in which you're slipping a little, you know?
And it's not even, I think I know you're saying you're slipping a little, wasn't like a literal sense as far as like the
Tuning.
Or more so just like the context of what that means. It's not like, yo, you better get in line. It's like, it's more so like, hey, I love you and I want the best for you.
Yeah.
And I really do desire you to be this way.
Yeah.
And I think that
But I think
that's
I
in
do. I
alignment
think
with
that
the
is
shame though.
the slipping.
Or because it's like, you can have the exact same, communicate the same kind of static information, but the way in which it's told can significantly color the message.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I'm going to rewind just a little.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that I said the slipping a little thing, because that is how I process it. Like, get in line.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that's right. Please don't, take this and be like, Andy said, so that's what I'm going to do. But I'm like, for my brain, I hate a sugar coat. You know what I mean? Just tell me. And so sometimes I process his love as sugarcoating. I think you're my daughter, and I think the world of you. And I'm like, I feel you. What did you need to say? You know what I mean? Like, what can I do better? Which isn't the truth at all.
Right.
But it's me going, I know I'm doing something wrong, so just tell me what I'm doing wrong. How do I get back in line?
What was that thing we were talking about the other day? You said it was a certain word, and I was like, nah, it's an invitation.
Expectation.
Expectation as opposed to invitation.
Yeah.
Install. Invitation versus expectation.
Yeah.
Both of those things could be warranting the same action or change.
Yeah.
But the perspective in which it's approached and the reality of what it actually is has a significant difference.
Yeah.
Because expectation has a consequence to it.
Yeah.
If this expectation is not met, X, Y, Z may happen.
Right.
An invitation is, if you do this, things can, X, Y, Z can happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like the latter example is the heart of our Father.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, even it's significant that you're saying our Father, not our principal.
Right.
Or our boss.
Yeah.
So I think that's the nuance for me that I've just, because God does call us to work. And when I say to work, I'm saying to specific things. He calls us to things that require work sometimes.
Absolutely.
But not because it's your position with him. But I don't, for multiple reasons, my view on him as a father is hard, to just accept that and be like, no, yeah, for sure.
I feel having Triumph and True has really helped me. Because I am a father, and I think about my boys and our boys. And like how much I love them, how much I want for them. also how we raise them and how there is like, a standard of discipline and there's an expectation to certain things, you know what I'm saying? But the expectation is not necessary, like nothing rides on that expectation.
Right, it's not contingent, that's what he said.
Right, it's not conditional either, you know what I mean? And if anything, the expectation is more so on me as their father.
Yeah.
It's my duty and privilege to raise them and to make sure that they remain children as long as they're supposed to be children, raise them up to be young men and strong men that fear the Lord, right? Like, I feel more of a responsibility over them than they probably ever will to me.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, so much so he sent Jesus here and was like, all right, I'm about to straighten this out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Getting so big.
I feel like that's the update. We're doing good. We're doing great marriage-wise. I feel more connected in this season than we have in a long time. Not that we were disconnected, it's just more.
Yeah.
Which has been good. Boys are good. He's laughing and stuff.
Smiling.
Obviously trying to get bigger way too fast.
Oh, no. This is cool. A little short episode. You with it?
Is it even short?
It's 30. My internal clock. Yeah, 31. That's a nice.
Welcome back.
Yeah, a little welcome back. Our desire is to be more consistent, though. Obviously, we have a lot of variables that we're working with. So we thank you for the grace and understanding, and anyone that takes their time to watch these videos. For real, thank you. We appreciate you being here. But yeah, that's our desire. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah. Because it's important to us. It's good for us.
Yeah.
It's obedience. And what are you doing? But yeah, we have kids. We have jobs. We have... Those aren't excuses. It's just like learning how to balance it and how to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Our number one commitment and priority is to the Lord and then to our marriage. And so it's like, full disclosure, part of why we didn't release the last episode is because it turned into a you label it, since we never fight is his thing. A opportunity, I'll say that.
Yeah.
And we could have even had more consistent content out to you guys, but we just prioritized like the order in which God has given us stuff. So he's given us himself and then each other. And it's important that we never become products.
Facts.
And end up like hoeing ourselves out for the that's what
That's a
what
fact.
it is.
That's a fact.
Just so that we can be consistent. So it's like this balance of like, hey, our desire is to be consistent, and then giving you an example of like in efforts to do that, we also are not ever going to exploit ourselves or put each other out in a way that the other person doesn't feel comfortable or
Absolutely.
So it we're catching our rhythm in this season, and then the couch stuff happened, and so there's like a lot of variables, and we will be consistent. And healthy as much as we can be.
Facts.
Yeah.
Like, what good is it doing all this and actually not being healthy?
Or like liking each other.
Facts. There's this, we've talked about it before, dang, I think it's called the paradox of practice. Essentially where somebody is telling you that they're doing something, but they actually never have done that thing before, nor do they know how to do this thing, but they're actively teaching you how to do that thing. We would never ever do that. What we talking about is like for real something that we're experiencing, and maybe even too raw, which is why the last episode didn't come out, because it was like, yo, this not settled yet. We out here talking about it.
Yeah.
So just know that what you see is truly what you get. This is not an act. This is not a finesse. This is not anything other than what you see it to be. And that's how it always be.
Yeah. And hopefully that can encourage other people to be authentic and
Be
like
you,
just
yo.
show up. And
Facts.
even me being like, and I guess I present differently than I feel internally, but me being like, this is what God is doing. Like there's no, that doesn't feel like, ooh, that's good. That's a good word. To me, it just feels like, y'all, I'm out here, you
Facts,
know?
yeah.
He's changing things in me and I don't want to do it. And he's asking things of me that I do not want to do. And he's bringing up things that I thought were put to bed that need to be healed. And that's what the episode is about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but what I've learned is people get way more from authenticity than they do from a show or being entertained.
Facts.
And so that is what this is, and we get to show up and talk and have a conversation and, you know, wipe baby throw up off of me and, you know, process through life together, then, like, so be it.
Yeah.
And I think that's also just something, like, I don't want to say, I'll say this and then kind of fill it in, but, like, learning how to show up unprepared. And I say that to say when it's more outside of your control than in your control. So if I have a show and I'm like, I'm not going to practice, that's not responsible. So
Bless you, son.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the idea of, like, learning how to pivot with God. Like, hey, I need you to do this. And I'm like, well, I haven't. Moses has been like a thread for me right now, where God does these miracles with him, and then he goes, okay, I need you to go do that with him. And he's all like, well, you know, thank you for the opportunity, but I don't really speak that well. You're asking me to go speak on behalf of these people. So, like, had he known, like, who God was, and it's like, okay, I'm sure you have me, I'll do it. The story could have been different. I'm not even saying better, but just different, you know? And that's what I'm learning, to stop focusing on my inadequacies and being like, okay, if that's what you're saying, do. Wouldn't say I've killed it in that.
You're growing, you're learning.
Yeah.
We all are. When you were saying about the inconvenience, I was thinking about Jesus, and he'd be like, hey, yo, follow me. I think it was a parable, though. Oh, and the people were like, I can't, I just got married.
Yeah.
I gotta go bury my dad.
Mom, yeah.
It's like that level of, like, I'm in
The people who literally dropped everything and went.
fire. I desire that.
Yeah.
To be like, yes.
Even in my, like, hypothetical, I'm like, I desire it-ish.
Yeah, that's tough.
But I do want
that's
it.
Tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I guess you never know until you know. But you have an opportunity. We all have an opportunity. You know?
Yeah.
So, thank you. This is a welcome back for us for sure. We'll see you soon the next time. And until next time, peace.